If losing your job would make you believe you had lost your purpose, then perhaps what you called purpose was only a position. Consider that carefully. If they remove the title, does your meaning disappear? If the salary stops, does your value stop? If the office closes, the audience leaves, or the organization replaces you, do you suddenly become a person without a reason to live? Here is the problem. We have trained people to introduce themselves by what employs them. I am a manager, I am a teacher, I am a business owner. But those statements describe where you are functioning. They do not fully explain why you exist. That confusion becomes painful when life changes. A layoff feels like rejection. Retirement feels like irrelevance. A closed door feels like the death of destiny. A quiet season feels like failure. Yet the real crisis is not always the loss of the position. The crisis is that the position was carrying an identity it was never designed to carry. Record this principle. Purpose is the enduring contribution your life was designed to make. A job is one temporary environment in which that contribution may be expressed. Your occupation can change while your contribution continues. Your platform can shrink while your usefulness grows. Your title can disappear while the capacity within you remains alive. A vehicle may break down, but that does not mean the destination has been erased. Most people ask, which career should I choose? Where can I earn more? How can I become visible? Those questions have their place, but they are not the first questions. The deeper question is this: what has been placed within me that can benefit someone beyond me? Say this aloud. My role may change, but my reason for serving remains. Say it again, because your emotions must hear what your mind is learning. My role may change, but my reason for serving remains. That means a disrupted career does not have to become a destroyed life. It may be an invitation to separate your assignment from the structure that once carried it. But relief is not enough. You must now discover what remains when the title is gone. We are going to build that discovery carefully. We will define the terms people confuse. Examine 4 clues hidden in the patterns of your life. Expose the motives that imitate purpose. And finish with a practical experiment you can begin where you are. But first, we must untangle 5 different words that many people are trying to force into one career decision. The 5 words are identity, purpose, vision, assignment, and occupation. Record them as a map, because confusion begins when you ask one word to perform the work of all 5. First, identity answers. Who am I, and where does my worth come from? Identity must be established before achievement. If your occupation gives you your value, then anyone who controls the occupation can control how you see yourself. You will work for approval, panic when overlooked, and interpret every failure as a verdict on your worth. Your identity is deeper than your performance. You must know who you are before you can responsibly decide what you should do. Second, purpose answers. Why do my capacities exist? Purpose is the enduring reason behind your contribution. It is not merely what you enjoy, and it is not whatever happens to pay you. Purpose directs what has been placed within you toward a benefit beyond you. Third, vision answers. What would the future look like if that purpose were fully expressed? Vision gives purpose a picture. It allows you to see a condition that does not yet exist and begin organizing your choices toward it. The picture may grow as your understanding grows, but without vision, energy becomes scattered. Fourth, assignment answers. What is my responsibility now? An assignment is purpose applied to a particular problem, people, place, or season. Assignments begin. Assignments develop. Assignments can be completed. When one assignment ends, that does not mean purpose has died. It may mean purpose is moving into another expression. Fifth, occupation answers. Through what structured role am I presently working? An occupation may provide income, training, relationships, access, and an opportunity to serve. It is important, but it is not infinite. It can carry part of your assignment without containing the whole meaning of your life. Now follow the order. Identity stabilizes you. Purpose gives you a reason. Vision gives you a picture. Assignment gives you a present responsibility. Occupation gives you a possible platform. If you reverse that order, the platform begins defining the person. But when the order is right, the person can use the platform without becoming imprisoned by it. This explains why someone may possess an impressive title and still feel empty. The occupation is active, but the purpose is neglected. It also explains why someone in an ordinary role can possess extraordinary fulfillment. The title may be modest, but the contribution is real. And understand this clearly. Every passion does not have to become a profession, and no profession has to express everything you were created to contribute. Stop demanding that one job supply identity, meaning, vision, service, security, and significance all at once. Now that the categories are separated, we can ask the next question. Do you invent your purpose, or do you learn to recognize the evidence already present within your design? Purpose is not something you manufacture to impress people. It is something you recognize, develop, and express. Deliberate design begins with intent. You do not first receive capacities and then randomly search for a reason to use them. The reason gives those capacities direction. That means you should not build your life around whatever is fashionable. Trends can suggest opportunities, but they cannot define your assignment. Another person's success may inspire you, but it cannot explain you. Comparison will have you copying someone else's expression while neglecting the evidence within your own life. Record this distinction. Potential is not performance. Potential tells you what may be possible. Performance reveals what has been developed. You can possess remarkable capacity and still produce very little, because capacity must be trained. It needs education. It needs discipline. It needs character. It needs repeated practice. A seed may contain a future, but containing a future is not the same as producing one. And this is where many people become confused. They recognize a gift and immediately announce a destiny. Slow down. A gift is evidence, but it is not the entire conclusion. Its meaning becomes clearer when it repeatedly helps people, addresses a real need, and agrees with convictions that survive changing moods. What comes naturally may identify your first tool. What you must learn may become the equipment required to use that tool responsibly. Perhaps you communicate naturally, but you still need to study. Perhaps you organize instinctively, but you must learn leadership. Perhaps people trust your counsel, but compassion does not remove the need for wisdom. Natural ability opens the door to development. It does not excuse you from it. Now become quiet for a moment and examine the patterns. What desire keeps returning after temporary excitement fades? What responsibility do people repeatedly place in your hands? What feedback have you heard from different people in different seasons? When have you felt most useful, not merely noticed, but useful? What concern followed you from one environment into another? Do not force the answer. Observe it. Pray over it. Test your motives. Review your history without allowing pain or praise to rewrite it. Ask for clarity, then become willing to act on the next responsible step instead of demanding a complete picture of the next 20 years. You may have been searching for purpose only in job listings, famous personalities, glamorous industries, or imagined platforms. Meanwhile, evidence has been appearing in your repeated abilities, recurring concerns, and moments of service. Purpose is not hiding from you in some unreachable future. There is already a trail, but a trail must be followed, and evidence must be interpreted through disciplined contribution. So let us begin with 4 clues. The first is the tool that keeps appearing wherever you go, the capacity that repeatedly becomes useful in your hands. Capacity is the ability to produce a useful result. Notice that I did not say it is merely something you enjoy. I did not say it is something that makes people notice you. Enjoyment may accompany capacity, and recognition may follow it. But usefulness is the test. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, what do people repeatedly seek my help with? Second, what difficult task feels unusually natural when I approach it? Third, what result tends to improve when I become involved? Do not dismiss those questions because the answers seem ordinary. What is native to you often feels unremarkable to you. You assume everyone can see what you see, explain what you explain, or organize what you organize. But if people continually bring you the same kind of confusion, responsibility, or need, pay attention. Repetition is evidence. Perhaps you clarify ideas that other people struggle to understand. Perhaps you enter disorder and establish a workable system. Perhaps you design solutions, strengthen discouraged people, protect those who are vulnerable, build reliable processes, listen without rushing, teach with patience, or lead people through uncertainty. None of those capacities requires a glamorous title. Purpose does not become important only when it becomes public. Now understand the difference between ease and energy. Purpose-related work is not always easy. It may demand concentration, sacrifice, study, and courage. But even when the work is tiring, there is often a meaningful engagement within it. You finish physically spent but inwardly aware that something valuable was accomplished. Empty labor only drains you. Meaningful labor may tire you while still confirming that your effort mattered. But capacity must remain connected to service. The moment a gift exists only to make you visible, it begins to lose its direction. A gift is not a spotlight you shine upon yourself. It is a tool placed in your hands for the benefit of others. And having the tool does not mean you have mastered it. Raw talent still needs training. Ability still needs correction. Influence still needs ethics. Good intentions still need consistency. A capacity may point toward greater responsibility while your present character and competence are still being prepared to carry it. So make an evidence list. Write down the requests people repeatedly bring to you. Record the positive results that tend to occur when you contribute. Then identify the abilities that have followed you through different jobs, relationships, communities, and seasons. Stop envying another person's equipment while ignoring what is already working in your own hands. But a tool alone cannot tell you where it should be used. For that, we must examine the condition that keeps moving your heart and the problem that refuses to let you remain indifferent. The second clue is burden. A burden is a concern that keeps returning after the emotion of the moment has passed. It follows you, it interrupts your comfort. It produces a desire to understand, improve, protect, restore, or build. But do not confuse burden with irritation. Irritation says, someone should fix this. Burden asks, what responsibility can I accept? Irritation enjoys describing what is wrong. Burden is willing to serve when nobody is watching. One produces complaints, the other begins producing commitment. What subject keeps commanding your attention? Perhaps it is confusion that prevents people from growing. Perhaps it is avoidable suffering, a broken process, an unmet need, wasted talent, or a possibility continually being lost. What condition makes you think this should not remain this way? Pay attention to that response, but do not stop with emotion. Emotion may alert you to a condition, yet emotion alone cannot define an assignment. This brings us to the third clue, the problem. A burden is the concern you feel. A problem is the specific condition that must change. Many people say, I want to help others. That sounds noble, but it is too vague to direct action. Help whom? With what? What is happening now? What healthier result should replace it? Until you name the problem, your compassion has no target. For example, do not merely say you care about young people. Ask what condition concerns you. Is it lack of direction? Undeveloped ability? Isolation? Poor preparation? Then ask which people experience it and what meaningful improvement would look like. Here is the progression. Concern notices, understanding names, capacity approaches, service changes. Say it again. Concern notices, understanding names, capacity approaches, and service changes. Now be careful with pain. Every painful experience is not automatically a command to build your future around it. Pain can teach you. It can deepen compassion. It can help you recognize what others overlook. But the clue is not simply that you suffered. The clue is what you learn to understand, prevent, repair, or transform through that experience. Test the burden. Has it remained across time? Does it survive when nobody applauds? Does it lead toward constructive service rather than resentment? Does it connect with a capacity you possess or are willing to develop? Write one sentence. I am persistently concerned about this condition because I believe this better result is possible. Do not write a slogan. Name something real. Frustration without responsibility becomes complaint. Frustration joined to disciplined contribution can become direction. You are moving now from wanting to be significant toward identifying a problem worthy of sustained service. But even a defined problem is incomplete until you know who experiences it. Purpose becomes clearer when you identify the people for whom your capacity and concern consistently become valuable. The fourth clue is people. Purpose is not completed merely because you possess a gift and recognize a problem. Contribution must eventually arrive in the life of someone who can benefit from it. Many people say, I want to reach everybody. That sounds ambitious, but it usually produces confusion. If everybody is your assignment, you will not know whose needs to study, what language to use, or which problem to solve first. Focus does not reduce your importance. Focus makes your contribution usable. So ask yourself, which people repeatedly trust me with their questions? Who seems to understand when I explain? Who responds when I lead? Who benefits from lessons I have learned through experience? Where does my presence consistently help people move forward? Do not answer according to status. The people connected to your present assignment may be few. They may be overlooked. They may be inconvenient to serve. They may have no platform to give you, no title to offer you, and no ability to make you look important. But if their condition improves because you serve faithfully, the contribution is real. Now bring the four clues together. Capacity identifies your tool. Burden identifies the concern you cannot easily ignore. The problem identifies the condition that needs to change. The people identify where your contribution belongs. Do you see the pattern? A tool without a problem is unused potential. A burden without people remains general emotion. A problem without service becomes endless analysis. But when capacity, concern, problem, and people meet, direction begins to emerge. Now write a provisional statement using this structure. I use this capacity to help these people move from this condition toward this better result. Perhaps you use clear communication to help confused beginners move toward confident understanding. Perhaps you use organization to help overwhelmed teams move toward reliable execution. The wording is not sacred. The contribution is what matters. And call the statement provisional because you are not building a prison. You are forming a hypothesis that must be tested through service. Your understanding may deepen. The audience may become clearer. The method may change. A statement should guide faithful action, not pretend that you already know every future season. Test it with 4 questions. Does this capacity genuinely help? Is the problem real? Are these people being served rather than used for your ambition? Can you describe an observable improvement produced by the contribution? Now say this aloud. Purpose is not a title I possess. It is a contribution I deliver. Again, purpose is not a title I possess. It is a contribution I deliver. The 4 clues have now turned scattered pieces of your life into a possible direction. You have a tool, a concern, a target, and people to serve. But before you trust that direction, it must survive 4 counterfeits that often disguise ambition, pressure, and insecurity as calling. The first counterfeit is applause. If the contribution feels meaningful only when it is visible, praised, shared, or attached to a platform, you may not be pursuing purpose. You may be pursuing recognition. Applause is dangerous because it can reward appearance before contribution has been tested. It can make you abandon useful work simply because useful work is sometimes quiet. Ask yourself, if nobody celebrated this, would I still believe it was worth doing? The second counterfeit is inherited pressure. Sometimes a family, culture, or social circle hands you a respectable definition of success before you have examined your own capacities and concerns. You choose the role that pleases everyone, but you become absent from your own life. Advice can be wise, but expectation becomes destructive when it silences the evidence within you. The third counterfeit is the fantasy of income. Money matters. Work should be taken seriously. Income supports responsibilities and expands what can be built. But imagined wealth cannot tell you why you exist. A high-paying occupation may finance your contribution, express part of it, or have little direct connection to it. Money is a resource. It is a poor author of identity. The fourth counterfeit is prominence. Some people do not desire leadership. They desire the appearance of leadership. They want the microphone, but not the preparation. They want influence, but not accountability. They want the visible decision without the hidden discipline that makes the decision trustworthy. All 4 counterfeits grow stronger when identity is unsettled. If work must manufacture your worth, praise will control you, fear will direct you, Trends will distract you, and powerful people will be able to redefine you. You will not be choosing an assignment. You will be auditioning for acceptance. Now test your purpose statement. Would I still value this contribution without applause? Would I pursue it through a smaller role? Would I develop the necessary skill before it became profitable? Could I continue if people important to me misunderstood the decision? Be honest. Do not answer with the person you hope to become. Answer with the motives presently operating within you. This is not a command to reject influence, income, or family wisdom. Those things can strengthen an assignment, but they must remain servants of purpose, never its authors. Influence should enlarge service. Income should sustain responsibility. Wisdom should sharpen discernment. None of them should be allowed to decide your worth. Become quiet and separate two desires: the desire to be useful and the desire to appear important. They can feel similar in the imagination, but they produce different behavior. One asks, who benefited? The other asks, who noticed? Stable identity frees you to work from conviction rather than perform for approval. You do not need a career to prove that you matter. You need clarity so your work can express what already matters. Once these false motives lose their authority, you can understand how one enduring purpose may travel through many occupations, assignments, and seasons. Return to the principle. Position describes where you function today. Purpose explains the contribution that can continue through many positions. Suppose your enduring contribution is bringing clarity. You may express it while teaching a class, managing a team, writing an article, raising a child, mentoring a young person, or redesigning a confusing system. The environment changes. The method changes. The people may change, but the recognizable thread remains. Confusion decreases when you serve. You did not become 6 different people. One contribution moved through 6 different settings. This is why an early role should not be judged only by its title. That role may be developing discipline you will need later. It may be teaching you patience, competence, judgment, or how to work with people. It may be giving you knowledge and relationships that will become valuable in an assignment you cannot yet see clearly. Do not despise ordinary responsibility. Small beginnings are laboratories of stewardship. Limited visibility reveals whether you can remain dependable without constant recognition. If you will not prepare when the room is small, a larger room will magnify the weakness you refuse to correct. But listen carefully. Preparation is not passive delay. A developmental season should develop something. Your capacity should become stronger. Your judgment should become clearer. Your character should become steadier. Your service should become more faithful. If years are passing and nothing is being practiced, corrected, or contributed, do not call inactivity preparation. Now consider career disruption. When a position ends, most people ask only, what did I lose? Ask better questions. What capacity remains? What conviction became clearer? What relationships were formed? What lessons can transfer? What problem am I now better equipped to understand? Your title may not travel with you, but your development can. Say that aloud. My title may not travel with me, but my development can. Vision can also expand without purpose being abandoned. The audience may grow. The method may change from personal service to building a system that serves many. A paid occupation may become a voluntary contribution, or a private contribution may eventually become paid work. Change of scale is not necessarily change of purpose. The danger is scattering yourself across every opportunity simply because each one offers money, novelty, or praise. Not every open door belongs to your assignment. Opportunity without alignment can make you busy while moving you away from the contribution you are equipped to make. So stop treating your present position as either your permanent identity or a meaningless interruption. It may be a platform. It may be preparation. It may be a temporary assignment. But it is not the final definition of your life. Now, understanding this pattern is not enough. Purpose becomes clearer when service is tested. We must move from reflection to an immediate discovery process that turns your purpose statement into action. Here is where overthinking must end. You have reflected long enough to form a direction. Now you need responsible movement, because action reveals information that imagination cannot supply. You do not need complete certainty before taking a faithful step. You need enough clarity to serve responsibly, enough humility to learn, and enough courage to begin small. Let me give you 7 steps. First, choose one provisional purpose statement, not 5 identities, not 10 possibilities. Select one statement from the 4 clues: your capacity, the problem, the people, and the better result. Focus conserves energy. Second, choose a small, real group and one defined problem. Do not begin with the whole world. Begin with people you can actually reach. Purpose becomes testable when the recipient is real and the need is specific. Third, design a limited experiment using what is already available. Teach one short lesson. Mentor one person. Organize one neglected process. Create one useful resource. Volunteer the capacity you believe may be connected to your assignment. Do something small enough to complete but meaningful enough to produce evidence. Fourth, decide what improvement should be visible. How will you know the service helped? Did confusion decrease? Did the process become more reliable? Did the person gain a skill, make a decision, or move forward? Personal excitement is not sufficient evidence. Contribution must produce benefit beyond the contributor. Fifth, request honest feedback. Ask the people you served what helped and what did not. Ask mature observers to examine your competence, consistency, character, and effect. Do not seek only people who will protect your enthusiasm. Encouragement feels good, but accurate feedback makes you useful. Sixth, review 4 signals after repeated effort. Is your usefulness growing? Does the burden remain after the novelty fades? Is your capacity improving under discipline? Do people continue to benefit from or request the contribution? Seventh, refine before you abandon. If an experiment fails, do not immediately declare that your purpose was false. The format may have been weak. Your preparation may have been insufficient. The audience may have been wrong. Or your hypothesis may genuinely need correction. Learn the difference. Purposeful people do not worship their first method. Now schedule the action. Give it a date. Name the person or group. Define the scope. Inspiration without a calendar usually becomes another memory. And create room for it. Reduce one distracting commitment for a limited period. Your priorities are not proven by what you admire. They are revealed by what receives your time, energy, and attention. Say this aloud. I will take the next responsible step without demanding the entire map. Again, I will take the next responsible step without demanding the entire map. You now have a discovery process. Serve, observe, receive feedback, refine, and serve again. That process replaces anxious speculation with measurable contribution. But one final issue remains. You must redefine success, or comparison will persuade you to abandon a genuine assignment simply because someone else's platform appears larger. Success is the effective and responsible delivery of your contribution. It is not the imitation of another person's occupation, income, audience, timing, or visibility. Comparison fails because it compares things with different assignments. 2 people may serve different problems, different groups, and different seasons. One contribution may reach thousands. Another may transform one family, one team, or one community. External scale cannot tell you whether either person was faithful. So measure your progress with 3 questions. Was the gift developed? Was a real person or condition served? Was the present responsibility handled with integrity? If the answer is yes, do not permit someone else's platform to make your obedience look small. Now return to the opening test. What happens when the job disappears? The position may end, but your capacities can travel. Your burden can remain. Your lessons can deepen. Your responsibility to contribute can find another vehicle. A closed office does not close your purpose. A changed title does not erase your design. Say this aloud. My worth is not my employment. My purpose is not my title. My obedience does not depend on applause. Again, my worth is not my employment. My purpose is not my title. My obedience does not depend on applause. Now pray honestly. God, clarify what you have placed within me. Discipline my focus. Purify my motives. Give me courage to serve without recognition and wisdom to recognize the next responsible step. Teach me to develop what I have, address what I can, and remain faithful where I am. Then act. Complete your 4-clue statement. Name one person or group you can serve. Choose one small experiment. Put the first action on your calendar before the emotion of this moment fades. You were not created merely to earn a living, collect titles, or wait until somebody important notices you. You were created to make a contribution. Positions are temporary. Contributions can continue. The role may change. The platform may change. The season may change. But when you know the deeper reason you serve, change can no longer erase your direction. Your job is one vehicle. Your purpose is bigger than your job.